What's up guys, and welcome to part 3 of my Attack on Titan chapter 103 discussions. In the first video, we discussed Jean, and whether he's going to buy the farm in the next chapter. And in the last video, we talked about Armin, and what may have led up to his decision to use the nuke in this battle. But in this video, it's time to talk about Zeke. We'll discuss Levi and Eren a bit in this video too, but for the most part, this video is going to focus on everybody's favorite giant monkey. I'm sorry, ape. Ever since Zeke's first introduction in chapter 86, when he was a child, it was always evident that he was going to have an important role to play in the story. I remember becoming really suspicious of Zeke, and I think this is when most people realized that there was more going on with Zeke than it seemed. It was back in chapter 93, when it was revealed that he had never told Marley about having royal blood. This is really important. And I've already talked a bit about this in a video I made after that chapter had come out. But ever since then, there's been a lot more clues and a lot more evidence that Zeke might potentially betray the Marley. And I think just about everybody agrees by now that Zeke is up to something. He's been more than suspicious. And not just because he's withheld this very important information from the people who are supposed to be his allies. From the things that he says, to the way that he's drawn, to random-ass panels of him chit-chatting on the phone with someone, it's clear that Zeke has his own agenda, and he's definitely not working alone. I'm sure most of you guys have heard by now the popular theory that Zeke and Eren are working together. Now, I'm not going to go through every single scene and every single clue, because there's honestly so many of them it would take way too long, but I am going to touch on a few important moments. And this latest, let's say, suspicious event that happened with Zeke and Levi this chapter is really just another clue of a much bigger plot. So, could it be that Zeke is not only working with Eren, but also with the Survey Corps? Let's take a moment to look at some of the key scenes with Zeke leading up to this festival, and see if we can figure out what's going on. So first of all, we already talked about Zeke's omission to tell the Marley about his royal blood. But if you think about the fact that Zeke gave up his parents when he was just a little kid, he was being trained by Grisha and conditioned to take on this massive task, and he turned around and told the Marley what they were doing, but he didn't tell the Marley that he was royal blood and that his mother was of royal blood. As I talked about in my last video about Zeke, there could be several reasons for that. He could just be protecting himself. He could have been trying to protect his mother somehow, because even at that young age, considering what kids are exposed to in Marley, at least these Eldian kids, I wouldn't be surprised if he had some idea of what the Marley would do to someone who was of royal blood, which, as Kruger tells to Grisha during their conversation, that if the Marley had found someone with royal blood, they would basically imprison them and try to breed them, and that's pretty messed up. So Zeke could have just been protecting himself from something like that happening to him. But considering this is obviously a big plot point, that's probably not the case. There wouldn't be so much focus on this scene, and Zeke in this scene especially, if this wasn't significant. There is a reason, a big reason, why Zeke is keeping this information from Marley. And what it could point to is an even bigger plot that had been started into motion before Zeke had ever turned in his parents. In fact, Zeke turning in his parents could have been part of some bigger plan. There could have been someone in the Marley who was on the Eldian side, like Kruger, who influenced Zeke in such a way that he convinced him he had to do this for the greater good in order to eventually free Eldia. But if Zeke not telling them about his royal blood has something to do with a bigger plot that's going on in the background, I can't imagine Zeke coming up with this by himself as a kid. However, information has been released that Zeke is one of the smartest characters in the story, maybe even smarter than Armin, so maybe Zeke did come up with all this himself. That would be pretty insane. Another important scene is the scene when Zeke is telling the warriors about the Tiber family for the first time. He does hint to them that someone is listening, again showing that he is not completely loyal to his superiors. Additionally, the fact that Zeke is the person to introduce the Tibers to the audience, I think, is significant, because the way he talks about them, it kind of makes it sound like, at least to me, that he has had personal correspondence with Willy Tiber, or someone else in the Tiber family. Even though it doesn't show it or say that Zeke and Willy ever talked, Another scene later on when Zeke is talking to his superiors and the generals and stuff about their plan to deal with Paradis, he's the one who suggests attacking it sooner rather than later. Another moment is the random scene with Zeke on the phone. We get this scene in between panels of Falco sending a letter for Eren. Now I think this scene serves two purposes. Zeke randomly being there in the middle of Falco sending Eren a letter definitely suggests to me that the letter was going to Zeke, but who's he talking to on the phone? Some people have suggested that he's talking to Eren, but if Eren is talking to Zeke through the letters, then why would he be calling him? Now in chapter 100, Eren did say that the letters weren't going to his family, but they did make it to his friends. So his friends obviously must be the Survey Corps, which means that he could have sent the letter or letters to the Survey Corps and was actually talking to Zeke on the phone. Or maybe he was doing both. I actually think that the person he's probably talking to on the phone with in this scene is Willy Tybur. Since we never really get to see Zeke and Willy talking or even really being in the same room together, I think this would be a clever insert to just show Zeke on the phone with some random person, not show who it is, and then later, during a flashback, of course, because we're going to have a flashback to see how all of this got put together, you're going to see Zeke talking to Willy, and probably in the midst of convincing him of something, manipulating him into holding this festival or whatever. I think that that's probably what's going to happen, most likely. Because Isayama threw this little mystery in there. Zeke's talking to somebody and nobody knows who it is. It's going to have something to do with the plot and what has happened over the past few chapters. I don't think there would be a lot of significance really to showing Zeke having a conversation with Eren over the phone. At least not to me. Like, if Eren and Zeke were to talk to each other, I want to see it face to face. And I don't really think it would be smart to be scheming up a plan over the phone. And considering Marley likes to listen in on their warriors, Zeke's phone is probably tapped wherever he's calling from. It's probably being recorded, somebody's probably listening. So whatever Zeke's talking about, whoever he's talking to, it has to be something that he can say without the Marley getting suspicious, and Zeke has a way of doing that, obviously. So I think it makes a lot more sense if this was Zeke talking to Willy. Just a moment of Zeke being all manipulative and shit. Like when you see the villain like building their secret weapon or whatever and you just see a glimpse of it, that's like what's going on here with Zeke, I think. But anyway, on to this latest chapter. So in this latest chapter, Zeke and Levi had an encounter that was kind of ridiculous. Let's just say it. This is obviously not the battle that we were looking forward to as an audience. Before Erwin's tragic demise, Levi had promised him that he would take the Beast Titan's head. He promised Erwin that he would kill him no matter what. That was his last promise to Erwin, who had sacrificed his life and the lives of so many freaking other soldiers to distract Zeke so Levi could get to him and kill him, and Levi failed. And I'm sure that Levi has felt the weight of that failure and has spent probably a good amount of time feeling like shit about it. But if Zeke is working with Eren, and if Zeke is working with the Survey Corps, then the reasons for this alliance obviously must be greater than Levi's hatred for Zeke. I mean, it's kind of hard to imagine the Survey Corps being so forgiving to Zeke after killing Erwin and killing so many of their comrades. But again, like I was talking about in the last video with Armin, these characters all have to make a choice to do something they don't want to do in order to protect themselves and protect the people that they care about. And that could mean killing people, like they're having to do now, or it could mean allying yourself with someone and trusting someone that was once your enemy. Now, obviously, friend and enemy are not so black and white in this story. Now, how could this all have come about, though? If Zeke and Eren and the Survey Corps are all working together against the Marley, then how exactly did this happen? Now, like I was just talking about the Return to Shiganshina arc, when we saw Zeke, and when he was running from Levi, Zeke had a brief encounter with Eren, and this is when we kind of got the first clue that Eren and Zeke were related. We had this image of Zeke and Grisha kind of juxtaposed against each other, and showing that they had quite a resemblance. And he tells Eren that he was brainwashed by his father. And that's really interesting too, because even though it suggests, as I said before, that Zeke isn't completely loyal to the Marley. It doesn't appear that he ever agreed with his father either. In fact, a little bit before this, when he's throwing rocks at everybody, he gets kind of pissed off thinking about Grisha as he's watching all these soldiers charge him. So it's really kind of hard to say what Zeke really is thinking and feeling. He doesn't seem to be on anybody's side but his own. He doesn't seem to care for the Marley, and he doesn't seem to care for Eldia either. And he has royal blood, which is very, very important, because on the other side of things we have Eren, who has the coordinate. Now if Zeke and Eren are working together, and the Survey Corps are working with them as well, and they've been able to forgive Zeke for all of the shit that he did to them back during season 2, killing Mike and all that shit, if it's worth it, whatever their goal is, to forgive him for all that, then there must be something really big that they're planning. And again, what else could it be than the coordinate? We've been teasing this thing over and over again in this story, that Eren has the coordinate, the power to destroy not just the Titans but the whole world if he wanted to, but he can't use it. He can't use it unless he has contact with someone of royal blood, and Zeke has royal blood. So if Eren and Zeke are working together, well, does 2 + 2 = 4? Like, come on. This has to be what they're planning. There is nothing else that could possibly happen at this point. And plus, we've got all these references to time. The one translation called it a trump card. Levi's got a watch. So we're building up to something really, really big. Really, really big. And it's gotta be the coordinate. It can't be anything else. So the question really is, it's not if they're gonna use the coordinate, it's how are they gonna use the coordinate? What are Zeke and Eren gonna do with this unlimited power? Now we're not quite sure exactly how the coordinate works and what differences there are, as opposed to somebody of royal blood using the coordinate, or somebody who's not of royal blood using the coordinate with the help of someone who is royal blood. We don't know any of that. All we really know is that supposedly if Eren touches Zeke, if he comes into physical contact with Zeke, he can use the coordinate. So what is he going to do with it? Now I believe there are a few possibilities. If Zeke and Eren choose to use the coordinate, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to destroy the whole world. As it says in earlier chapters during the Uprising arc in the scene in the Crystal Cave, it suggests that the coordinate holder has several abilities when it comes to using the coordinate. They can use it to control Titans, they can use it to manipulate memories, they can use it to use Titans to build gigantic walls, they can use it to create new Titans, they may even be able to use it to create new shifters. So just because Eren unleashes the Wall Titans doesn't necessarily mean they're going to go and destroy the whole world. Theoretically, he could control them in such a way that they would only destroy the places and the people that he wanted to, like the Marley, which would pretty much give Paradis unlimited power over the rest of the world, which is, I'm sure, what everybody's afraid of. But it also suggests that the coordinate could also be used not just to control the Titans or create Titans, but to destroy the Titans completely, to erase them, to get rid of them. It doesn't say exactly how, but apparently they can do that. And we've heard characters talk about getting rid of the Titans, wiping them out for good, but if they were to use the coordinate, not for war, but to just get rid of the Titans, what does that even mean? Does getting rid of the Titans mean getting rid of all Eldians? Does it mean killing all Eldians? Because we don't want that, right? We don't want that. So, is there a possibility that the coordinate could also be used to just take away the Titan shifting ability from the Eldian people, to get it out of their DNA or whatever, so that they can't turn into Titans, so they're just regular human? Or could it make all humans be Titans? That'd be interesting. Then nobody would be safe. But anyway, I really feel like what everybody's been talking about is true. Zeke and Eren are definitely working together. The Survey Corps are definitely working with them, obviously, otherwise Levi wouldn't have done this weird thing where he faked out Zeke's death, and I'm pretty sure that whole scene there was meant to trick the Marley into thinking that Zeke is actually dead. So what's gonna happen after that? What's Zeke gonna do? Where's he gonna go? What's Levi gonna do? If they faked out his death and he snuck out of the battlefield and his goal is to help Eren use the coordinate, then I think it's safe to say that he's probably sneaking off to get closer to Eren. Is he gonna help Eren eat the Warhammer Titan? Is he gonna Just climb on Eren and use the coordinate right there? How is all this gonna turn out? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What do you think's gonna happen? Do you think that Zeke and Eren are gonna get together and use the coordinate? And if so, what are they gonna do with it? What do you hope's gonna happen? How do you think this whole thing is gonna end? Tell me in the comments. Alright guys, so that's it for my Attack on Titan Chapter 103 discussions. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't seen the first 2 videos, go check them out, and my review of Chapter 103. And don't forget to come back after the new chapter is released for my review of Attack on Titan Chapter 104. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to like, share, comment, and of course subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and check out my Patreon if you want to help support this channel. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.